Was he pale? You see? These are scriptures that you can see how he mentions. The word Nephi. Nephi is one of the writers of this book, the main writer. They took that from 2 Maccabees 1:36 to 34. Nephi is in the Maccabee book in the Bible. That means cleanse, clean. Okay? So in the book of, when you're reading this book I have here called Ancient Modern Britons, if you read Ancient Modern Britons by David McRitchie, he speaks about a tribe of Moors called Morini on page 50 in the book. And that's where they get this right here. Okay, when you read this. I'm just breaking it all down to you when you study it. Right? The angel Morini, or the son Morini in the book Mormon, come from the tribe of Morini in Europe. And they took that and made the book Mormons. Mormon actually means black men. The Moors, the men of the Moors. And Morini was that tribe. I might as well get it, see if I can find the book. Here we go. So I can read it. And see how it just links things up. See if I can find that book in that page in here. This book, I use book so much because this book really goes into how the blacks were the ancient Britons and ancient Black Irish, ancient Danes. Okay? Look at that right there. Morini, the country. Morini, people of Belgic Gaul. So Morini, that's where they got that name Morini at. One of the characters in the Book of Mormon. And also, in this book, right? Let me see if I can find it. It also goes into the Mormon history in this book. See if I can find it here. Either this book or another book. Just give me a minute. Just pan around and let him look at the pictures. And if I can't find it, then I'm going to get it next time. You know? What is that picture? I had that book right here, and now it's not here. Okay? Let's look in this one more time. I know I had it. Here we go. See, it was right there. It was hiding from it. This is from the book Mysteries of Ancient Americas, Reader's Digest. Now here's the story right here, the Mormons, real quick, because I want to go into how they lie over there, up there in Utah. They really think that they're the 10 tribes, and they stole the knowledge from the Mexicans and the Peruvians, who Issachar and Asher, and made up their little book. And they put lies in there about black skin being cursed, but in the same book in 2 Nephi 27, it says that the white skin is the curse. And in the Bible, it says in Leviticus, the 13th chapter, whites have leprosy, a lack of skin pigment. So who's the lie and who's the truth? You see? Notice whites look better and want to look better when they get brown. So why would they want to look cursed if this skin that I have is a curse? But yet, if I were to turn looking like this guy, I wouldn't look as good. Okay? So I'm just showing that dichotomy. But now, a 19th century painting of the angel Morini, see, delivers the golden plates to Joseph Smith on a hillside in New York. According to Mormon history, these plates told how their ancestors came to America from the land of Jerusalem. There's a lie. This is a Jesuit priest, a white devil, a witch that was sent out, dispatched by the Rome, as many different, missionaries were, to go throughout the world to push the white Christ lie, to push the Bible, push white supremacy. You see, on the Indians, and take their Indians' own spiritual weapon from them, the Bible, and make it the white man. You see, and make the Indians hate their own history. That's one thing I said in the beginning of this tape, that the Indians been taught to hate their own history. Here, this old white angel, came to Morini and taught them that they're the 10 tribes. That's a lie. I know it's a lie, because Jesus Christ is a black man. All the angels are black. Revelations 1:13 and 15. And all the white man has done is broke the laws of the Bible. Name one law the white man is teaching. He's not teaching one. So this is a history of the Mormon. I'm not going to go on into it, but to show the Mormons are liars. Okay, the whole history is a lie of them being Mormons. They're not the 10 tribes. The Indians are the ones that they killed. They murdered Indians. The Mormon Indians is a racist religion. Most High Christ said he's for all peoples. And the Israelites were for all peoples. Israel is the chosen, but there were nations living all amongst Israel, and we let them live with us as the servants. And we didn't have slaves. We had servants. And they had rights. We married amongst them and all of that. See, we didn't have, the white man is like a twisted Israelite. He took the servants that he knew that he had as us. We switched places, but he made us into slaves. The Israelites did not take their servants' nationality, rape their women, and take their language, culture, and take them away from their history and their lands. They didn't do that. So the Israelites in the ancient times could not be the white man like today, because they were just too ruthless today to be Israelites. They lie, they cheat, they throw the Bible in your face, then they lie behind your back. The Israelites mainly done what the Bible says. Mainly, America BC by Barry Fell. Okay, a major work to penetrate the mysteries of the ancient settlers in the New World. Good book, but Barry Fell doesn't really go into us being Israelites. But one thing the Lord showed me in here is that he goes into the Israelites being the mound builders. And he goes into the Ogums. See, this book has pictures here of the stone structures and the structures and some Hebrew here and pictures and these large stone structures that they use. Okay, he went throughout that time. He's seen certain variations of Hebrew there. Look at that, the Thar, right here. Look at this. It's compared to the Hebrew page I just showed you. Look at that. That's an ancient Thar, right there. Or what the white man will call, in different languages, the Taf or the Tav. You see, here's a Shah right there, what a white man calls Shin or Sin, upside down. There's an I right there, white man calls Ayin. You see, this little Hebrew, look at that. That's it. That's supposed to be right here. Aha. The E comes from the Ha. See how I have the Ha here? He calls it Hey, but the E comes from that. When you read the history. Also the H comes from our letter, which is called a Ha. Or in the Yiddish, it's called a He. Right here. You see how sometimes you see it spelled on an angle. So they use that. Look at that right here. That's kind of a derivative, kind of looks like a Ah. You can see the Hebrew in here. You see? Here's the different Hebrew things. I'm just showing you, when you start looking at things and seeing similarities and relationships. But mainly it's the Ogums that I want to get to. Here's some more stuff here. You see? It's ancient Hebrew. And I bet you the white man kind of messed with some of this stuff. You see? Massachusetts born. Iberian, southern Spain, ancient Hebrew, and ancient Spanish, Roman. They took the Roman from it. Look at that. That's a Shah. All that's Hebrew. We found this stuff throughout Spain. Punic settlers of Spain, 800. Look at that. It's Punic. Who were the Phoenicians? Who were the Carthaginians? They spoke Hebrew. They were Hebrews. We'll go into that in this book. But mainly, look at this. These are stone structures that they found, okay, over here. These are called Ogums. Two of America's largest dolmens. They call them dolmens, both the type called chromolech, in which the capstone is not flat. Now, how they get these large rocks? This is not natural. And the rocks are not dented in any way. There's no marks to show that they were carved that way. They were found as they are and put in place. Okay? found in New York. Seen them in New York. These large capstones, 50 tons. How'd they do this? These megaliths resemble those of Europe that date back to about 2000 BC. So this shows you, this goes back to Stonehenge. This goes back to the different, stones you find, which were the Celts, Israelites. Okay? And this goes back to the Bible. I'm going to go through these scriptures right here. You can read about the Oghams. Okay? Exodus 24:4, you can read about the 12 pillars that were put up. You see, it links up with the 12 pillars put up by the Druids during that time, and the Indian pillars. They found pillars of the Indians. In 1 Samuel 6:18, you had the stone of Abel, a stone that was set up to represent Abel. In Genesis 28:18 and 19, you have Jacob's pillow stone that he used as a marking to mark a great incident that happened during that time. And when you see stones, Genesis 31:44-53, the covenant stone, a pillar of Jacob, between Jacob and Laban, they set up a stone as a covenant. So when you see these stones, they really deal with agreement that was made, or a landmark, or a stone of sacrifice, an altar. Exodus 20:23-25. A stone altar. It shows you how the stones were made, and that how when it said when you make an altar to the Most High, do not make a mark upon it. Get you a rock. Don't shape it to square or whatever you want to shape it into. Take it as it is and make a stone altar. This explains how the altars were made, and it's just like the one we just saw in this book. Joshua 15:6. There's a bowhand stone to mark a landmark between the tribes that were east across the Jordan and the ones who were in the west, and show that they were brethren. And that was the stone of Bohan. You can read that. You can read Genesis 35:14-15. Jacob set a stone where he talked to the Most High. Okay? And Joshua 24:26-27. Stone of witness. Exodus 28:9-10. You saw stones of the 12 tribes, each one by their birth, different stones done. Joshua actually split the Jordan Sea, and he had the Levites set 12 stones on the bottom of the Jordan Sea. Joshua 22:10, 33-34. Okay? And Joshua 4:20-24, 12 stones in the Jordan. You can read all of this about the stones and the old Oghams. Okay?
Come on, honey.
This is a movie, Cat Ballou. Western classics, Jane Fonda and Lee Martin.
Here's my new Ghostbuster. This is my daughter, Catherine. Shalom Aleichem, Jackson 2 Bears.
Mr. Ballou, what's the use of saying Shalom Aleichem to me? I'm a full Sioux Indian. I'm not one of the chosen people.
All right, go ahead being stubborn if you want
Well,
to.
I ain't stubborn.
Oh, not much you ain't. You know, according to an ex-congressman of these United States I heard give a lecture at the Chautauqua this winter, Indians is the lost tribe of Israel, but he won't admit it.
Just ain't true.
He was an ex-congressman of these United States, I tell you.
Papa, maybe he was mistaken.
Oh, no, he was not. Jackson just got a mean, stubborn streak in him is all. I brought Mr. Bernstein, the telegraph operator, out here from town last month, and he stood right where you're standing now, and he talked Hebrew at Jackson for 10 minutes by my watch, and Jackson pretended he didn't understand a word. Now, I call that stubborn.
Well, I didn't understand a word.
You see what I mean? Now, you get that drunk down out there. I'll get...
All praise to the true Lord. Shalom.